The FBI, led by Kash Patel, just made a major error in the investigation of Charlie Kirk's assassination at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. As you'll recall, earlier in the day, Charlie Kirk was doing a speaking engagement outside. He was shot once in the neck by an individual who was believed to be about 200 yards away at the Losi Center, which is on campus. We have a diagram here, so you can see where the Losi Center is relative to where Charlie Kirk was shot and killed. And again, he was shot and killed in the neck. But Kash Patel, the FBI director, came out with a statement saying that the subject for the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Thank you to the local and state authorities in Utah for your partnership with the FBI. We will provide updates when available. Then, I guess about an hour later or so, FBI Director Kash Patel then posts, "The subject in custody has been released after an interrogation by law enforcement. Our investigation continues, and we will continue to release information in interest of transparency." Now, this was actually not the first time they got the wrong guy in connection with this assassination. At first, they had this guy in custody right here. I'm not going to give his name, and I'm not going to show his face because he had nothing to do with the shooting, but everybody was pointing to this guy. He was someone who was known to be at Republican gatherings and political gatherings in general. He had lots of misdemeanors in the past, but people generally viewed him as somebody who suffered from mental issues and would not have the capability to be an assassin like this. But he was the first person. Then separately, they were saying that there was someone who they said was around 25 years old or in that age range, and they claimed that they found a rifle among this individual's belongings, and then they brought this individual in for interrogation. Now, Kash Patel immediately posted, "We've got the guy." I mean, you saw what he said. If you just looked at what the gun was that was in his vehicle, it was actually a Ruger Yukon Magnum pellet gun. It was not the type of gun that would be used in an incident like this, so it'd be pretty obvious. But this was the video circulating of the other guy, the second guy, who was not the right person, who they claimed was the assassin. Play this clip.
I think they just found the guy right outside of Carry On. A rifle on this dude's dash, and they just handcuffed him.
And here you can see them pull out that pellet gun. I'm going to show you this video right here.
That's his rifle.
Now, we're getting additional information about this shooting. Again, as you know, it took place outside in kind of the campus center area of Utah Valley University. The shooter was on top of the Losi Center, and it seems that you can access that Losi Center actually without even having to climb it. That roof kind of runs parallel with raised grass, so you can almost walk directly on the roof. There's been this footage that has emerged of an individual spotted on the roof of the Losi Center at UVU moments before Charlie Kirk was shot. Again, I want to be clear, it's still unconfirmed that this was the shooter, but the location, timing, and angle has some level of consistency there, but I don't want to venture into speculation. But here, play this video.
Get right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof over there? Just saying? He just ran from, where's my finger?
Now, here's another rough view to the stage from the top of the Losi Center. So you can see the kind of direct line of sight where that shooting would take place. You can see this photo right here of Charlie Kirk in front of all of these students right here. There was another video that emerged from inside another building that was near this area where Charlie Kirk was speaking. And it pans very quickly. So I'm just going to show the image first so you know what to look for. And it appears that the shooter was running off the roof after the shot was fired. You see that arrow right there with the shooter on top of the roof? Don't worry, I'm not going to show any videos of the actual shooting. It's horrific. It's graphic. I've watched them. I don't care to show them. It's not the right thing to do to show those videos. But this provides an angle after the shooting. Let me play this for you. Let's play it. And here you see this was at the TPUSA event at UVU. Right after the incident, you'll see a bunch of students kind of running away. So let me show you that. Let's play this clip. Now, a press conference was held, and the governor, Cox of Utah, was there. The law enforcement, the commissioner of Utah Public Safety was speaking. Bo Mason, a lot of other top people were speaking, and they kind of seemed to be taken aback by Kash Patel talking about having the person of interest, because you don't do that in an investigation like this. You don't say you have the person when you don't have the person, and that could often lead to the person getting away by doing this shoddy law enforcement work. Here, a reporter says, the FBI director says, suspect in custody. What can you tell us? And you'll see Governor Cox kind of uncomfortable to answer. This was before we knew that that suspect was not the right guy. Again, the second time they got it wrong today alone. Here, play this clip.
The FBI director is posting that a suspect is in custody. I would just like clarification. Do you or do you not have a suspected shooter in custody?
We have a person of interest in custody that is being interviewed right now.
That is not George Zinn.
That is not George Zinn. That is correct.
Now, this is Police Commissioner Mason. Here, he said that there was the first person that they had in custody was released after we identified that he was not the accurate person. So what he's referring to here is not the person, not the second person in custody, that first person whose face I redacted, the one who's involved in a lot of Utah politics. So this screw up happened twice. Here, play this clip.
Shortly after the shooting, we did have a suspect in custody, George Zinn, but he was released from custody after we identified that he did not match the shooting suspect and was not an accurate person of interest. However, he has been booked into the county jail by Utah Valley University Police Department for obstruction of justice.
Then the police was asked if a weapon was recovered. Here, play this clip.
Was the gun recovered?
I'm sorry,
Was the weapon recovered?
At this point, I can't disclose that.
And here is what Commissioner of Utah Department of Public Safety, Bo Mason, has to say here about the information they may have on the suspect. Let's play it.
The only information we have on the suspect, the possible shooter, is taken from closed circuit TV here on campus. We do have that. We're analyzing it, but it is security camera footage, so you can kind of guess what the quality of that is. But we do know dressed in all dark clothing, but we don't have a much better description other than that.
Now, folks, without knowing who did this, what the motives were, without getting more detail at all, you have Donald Trump and MAGA really politicizing this and turning it into some very hateful rhetoric. Donald Trump gave a speech from the Oval Office, and immediately blamed leftists. And he said the left are a bunch of terrorists. And he's inciting his base right here, in my opinion, to commit violence against Democrats. He also references the assassination attempt on him in Butler, where we know that individual was a Republican and a Trump supporter. And the same thing, they flooded the zone with all of this information. Oh, it must be a liberal. It must be a leftist. It must be liberal. It was a very, very lifelong Republican. That's who it was, who was in a big Trump house. But this is the dangerous rhetoric he's saying. Let's play it.
For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives.
And that dangerous rhetoric is permeating all over right-wing social media now. You have Laura Loomer, a right-wing extremist, saying they sent a trained sniper to assassinate Charlie Kirk while he was sitting next to a table of hats that said 47. You could be next. I hate to say it, but I have a sick feeling we will be seeing more targeted assassination. The left are terrorists. This guy, Harrison Smith, right-wing media influencer, says, round them the F up. This other popular X account, which used to be Twitter, says, there's no going back after this. There's no more words to be said. The only way this ends is complete annihilation of the Democrat Party. Matt Forney says, Charlie Kirk being assassinated is the American Reichstag fire. It is time for a complete crackdown on the left. Every Democratic politician must be arrested and the party banned under RICO. Every libtard commentator must be shut down. Stochastic terrorism, they caused this. And then more comments like this. They've declared war. I want to see the Air Force sent to Democratic cities. You get the point. I mean, one horrible thing. This is war. One horrible thing after the other. Look, the first thing that we said here on the MeidasTouch network, not knowing the facts about what took place, is that in the strongest possible terms, we condemn political violence. When the assassination attempt happened on Donald Trump, same thing. In the strongest possible terms, we always call out and reject political violence. We can strongly disagree with people, but political violence is never the way. Ever, and we don't condone that ever here at the MeidasTouch network. I want to point out, though, as well, that at the same time Charlie Kirk was assassinated, there was a horrible school shooting that took place at literally the same exact time at Evergreen High School in Evergreen, Colorado, which is southwest of Denver. First, it was reported 3 students, including the attacker, was shot. I think that number has been up to 4 students who have been shot and many seriously injured. Another school shooting taking place at the same time. So I'll show you this last video right here as Yashar Ali posts. Authorities say that Charlie Kirk was taken to the hospital in a private vehicle. Every major event has medical staff and sometimes ambulances on site in case anyone faints or has another medical incident. Why were there no ambulances on site? Here, play this clip.
Hey, stop, folks! Stop, back up!
Well, there you have it, folks. Again, our hearts here sincerely go out to Charlie Kirk's wife and his kids and his family. the fact that we disagree with him in the strongest of strong terms does not mean that this ever should have happened. And it is a tragedy for this to happen. And I also want to call out, as I did in this video, that monstrous right-wing rhetoric right now, calling out Democrats as terrorists and leftists and saying all of that. There's no place for that in our political discourse either. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.